Despite its name, Fang was an ordinary small town in a northern province of Chiang Mai, situated on the banks of a river. It made a convenient stopover for river traders and passengers throughout most of the year. A few barges, rafts, and sometimes even a large sailboat could usually be found moored at Fang. But all that was long ago, before the creation of the Trial of Champions. Now, once a year, the river is crammed with boats as people arrive from hundreds of miles around, hoping to witness the breaking of an ancient tradition and see a victor in the Trial of Champions.
Okay, so we have our first option. We're going to play this by Josh makes a decision, I'm going to make a decision, then I'm going to give audio a decision. So we'll rotate like that, so you can have the first pick. So we're all kind of playing it.
Deep in the hillside, behind the town, lies a challenge created by a powerful baron of Fang called Sukhumvit, a labyrinth filled with deadly tricks, traps, and loathsome monsters from which there is only one exit. Each year, warriors and heroes come to Fang to face the Trial of Champions. Survival is unlikely, yet many take the risk. The prize is great, a purse of 10,000 gold pieces and the freedom of Chiang Mai forever. This year, you will attempt what has become known as the Walk, attracted to it for the simple fact that nobody has ever yet emerged victorious. In the morning, you see Baron Sukhumvit himself, with 5 others standing proudly in line, the violet scarves displayed for all to see. There are 2 bare-chested barbarians dressed in furs,
Oh, it's another game, is it?
a sleek elven woman with golden hair and feline green eyes, a man covered head to foot in iron-plated armor, with a plumed helmet and a crested shield, and another cloaked in black robes with only his dark eyes showing between the swaths of his black face scarves. A hush falls over the crowd as Baron Sukhumvit steps forward holding 6 bamboo sticks. You draw one from his outstretched hand and read the word 5th. The knight enters first. He salutes the crowd before disappearing into the tunnel. He is followed half an hour later by the elf, then a barbarian, and the dark assassin.
Are we going to choose what character we are?
It's your turn.
Oh, do we create our
But
character?
before embarking on your
Or is it
adventure,
pre-made?
we must first determine your own strengths
Oh
and
yeah, here we go.
weaknesses.
Awesome.
You have in your possession a sword, a shield, and a backpack for carrying provisions for the trip. You have been preparing for your quest by training yourself in swordplay and exercising vigorously. To see how effective your preparations have been, dice will be rolled to determine your skill, stamina, and luck scores. Or, if you wish to begin your adventure immediately, you can choose between 3 ready-made adventurers.
Okay. I think I'm gonna pick a ready-made adventure.
Yeah, you don't involve
Yeah, and people that might be watching this ain't gonna want to be bored and yeah. So we're gonna choose a ready-made adventure.
You can choose to be Alaric Ironwood, whose approach in battle is simple and direct. To charge forwards, huge shoulders whirling his sword manically about his head, chopping left and right with such force and speed as to quickly put any enemy off getting too close. And should they ever manage to sneak a blow in under this onslaught, Alaric's impressive physique will normally just brush it off as if it were a scratch. Born in Fang
Well, that sounds
himself
like me. So
many moons ago, Alaric is a hero to the locals. His mother still lives there, a diminutive woman who makes her living as a seamstress. and quite how she produced such a gigantic warrior no one quite knows. But the popular theory is that somewhere down his ancestral line, giant blood runs in his veins. Alaric's initial skill is 8, his initial stamina is 23, and his initial luck is 7. Alaric also carries a potion of strength that gives 2 opportunities to restore his stamina points to their initial amount.
Okay, we can play. We can learn about Laureate Starfire. Or I like the sound of Alaric already. Sounds like a badass.
But we gotta know about every
We need to learn about. Yeah, we need to be fair.
Yeah, of course.
You can choose to be Loretta Starfire, the most feared woman in all of Alancia. Even murderous highwaymen will deliberately evade her as she travels. And in the cities, battle-scarred mercenaries avoid this slightly built, intense-looking adventurer. Soldier and bandit alike, they're all terrified of the strange connection that binds Loretta to the tides of fortune. It is not so much that good luck befalls her. It is the fact that anybody who crosses her always ends up suffering the gravest misfortune. Tales abound of pickpockets who have had their hands severed in bizarre accidents after trying to steal from her. Of opponents in combat who have stumbled and fallen on their own swords. Little is known of Loretta's background, but there are whispers, perhaps not
She sounds
wholly
like she's going to be a
unfounded,
lucky character then.
that
She's gonna have
some
a high luck stat.
long-lost dark magic fills her soul.
What do you have, a thief or a thief?
Loretta's initial
Thief, I reckon.
skill is 9. Her initial stamina is 11. And her initial luck is 11. Loretta also carries a potion of fortune that gives 2 opportunities to not only restore her luck points to their initial amount, but will increase her initial luck score by 1.
Oh, I didn't actually know that score. What the hell's a luck stat? Is that like critical strikes and maybe finding better loot? Or simply rolling better? I'm not too sure. Okay,
Rasmus Longbeard. Well,
Rasmus. That's I love that. It's quite close to Rastan, which I love.
You can choose to be Rasmus Longbeard,
Okay, I've got my pick.
a supreme master with all types of offensive weapons.
He needs a
From throwing
longbow.
knives
Oh,
to
God.
longbows.
Longbow.
There is nothing that does not put the fear of the gods into his foes when it is in his hands. But it is his swordsmanship that is his most stunning attribute. The son of a blacksmith,
Oh, this
he
is
spent
good.
his infancy surrounded by blades of all designs. Ever since he was just a boy, he has repeatedly defeated opponents of greater age and experience in duels. He is even said to be able to chop a crossbow bolt from the air. Dressed in ornate flowing robes that allow him to move with ease, he is as fashionable as he is deadly. Rasmus begins with an initial skill of 12. His initial stamina is 17, and his initial luck is 9. Rasmus also carries a potion of skill that gives 2 opportunities to restore his skill points to their initial amount.
Oh, okay. What? Actually, it's Oddie's pick, isn't it? So Oddie, you get to do the honors in picking a character. That's the way the rules are. We're having 1 pick each. So you know which one? What tickles your fancy?
Rasmus.
Oh, good lad. I hope I was gonna say you're an asshole if you wouldn't have picked him. So yeah.
Lastly, before you begin your quest, you are given enough provisions for 10 meals. When you eat a meal, your stamina score will increase by 4 points. But don't forget, your stamina can never exceed the initial amounts you've just set. You have a long way to go, so use your provisions wisely.
Okay, so,
During your adventure, you'll enter into combat.
Well, there was a goblin then that popped up on the screen. I went, oh shit.
And the further you go, the tougher your opponents will be. Combat takes place over several rounds, and your attack strength is based on yours and your enemy's skill scores. For each round of battle, we'll roll 2 dice for you and 2 for your opponent, adding the results to your skill scores. These are your respective attack strengths. Whoever's attack strength is the highest wins that round of combat. If you both had the same attack strength in a round, then it will be a tie. In some battles, you can take an opportunity to escape. But beware. If you do run away, your opponent will automatically score 1 hit on you as you flee, costing you 2 stamina points. So be sure you have enough. Such is the price of cowardice.
Well, was this guy going for the Oscars?
He's definitely going for the Oscar. He's loving it.
You are playing using the new battle system, where the battle takes place over 3 rounds. Your sheer battle-hardened nature will mean you'll always win the battle after the 3 rounds, but every round you lose will cost you 2 stamina points.
I guess they refined the combat.
So be careful.
On this version.
Losing all your stamina
Apparently.
will still be fatal.
So your quest don't end and you got to keep restarting over and over again.
At the start of each round, you'll have a short time to decide to fight or to build up your stamina by eating your provisions or taking a potion, if you have one.
Okay, so we can... Oh, wait a minute. Play using the new battle system or learn about the original battle system rules. So I guess you can play between the book D&D and this optimized one. Because we're playing like a video game, right?
Yeah.
Well, interactive. They've obviously, with that in mind, have revamped the battle system. Yeah. Okay, Josh's pick. Josh, the pick of the options.
Yeah,
Now it is your turn to salute the crowd.
Right, I'm waving
Holding a
left and
violet
right
scarf aloft,
on Rasmus.
you take one final deep breath of cool, fresh air.
Right, we're going in.
Turning to pass between the stone-pillared gateway into Succumvit's corridors of power, to face unknown perils on the walk through the mighty barrens. Deathtrap.
How many seconds did it take for him to go? Do you know why? I really regret this decision. Nobody's ever came out. It's like the Willy Wonka chocolate factory. No one ever goes in, no one ever goes out. Well, if no one goes in, they can't come out either, can they? Maybe nobody ever entered the Deathtrap dungeon. Oh, Eddie Marson. He was in that awful World's End movie, which was fucking shite. Yeah, it was follow-up to Shaun of the Dead in Hot Fuzz, and it was bloody awful. Not as bad as Paul, though, the follow-up movie.
The excited spectators gradually fades behind you as you venture deep into the gloom of the cavern. Large crystals hang from the tunnel roof at 20-meter intervals, radiating just enough soft light for you to see your way. As your eyes gradually become accustomed to the near darkness, you begin to see movement all around. Spiders and beetles crawling up and down the chiseled walls
fucking hell.
disappear quickly into cracks and crevices as they sense your approach. Rats and mice scurry along the floor ahead of you. Droplets of water drip into small pools with an eerie plopping sound which echoes down the tunnel. The air is cold, moist, and dank. After walking slowly along the tunnel for about 5 minutes, you arrive at a stone table standing against the wall to your left. On it, there are 6 boxes, one of which has your name painted on its lid.
Oh, well, this is my pick, so I'm going to open the box. Let's open it.
The lid of the box lifts off easily, and inside you find 2 gold pieces and a note written on a small piece of parchment addressed to you. After placing the gold in your pocket, you read the message, which says, "Well done. At least you had the sense to stop and take advantage of the token aid given to you. Now I can advise you that you will need to find and use several items if you hope to pass triumphantly through my Deathtrap dungeon. Signed, Succumbit. Memorizing the advice on the note, you tear it into tiny pieces and continue north along the tunnel, where you come to a junction. A white arrow painted on one wall points west. On the floor, you can see wet footprints made by those who entered before you. It's hard to be sure, but it looks as though 3 of them followed the direction of the arrow, while 1 decided to go east.
Alright, so are you going east or west? Oh, sorry, it's Oddie's turn. Oddie, no opening up a game FAQ either. We want genuine picks here.
Ahead, you can see a large obstruction on the tunnel floor. Although it is too dark to make out exactly what it is, the wet eastbound footprints you have been following carry on towards the obstruction. You see that the obstruction is a large brown boulder-like object. You touch it with your hand and are surprised to find that it is soft and spongy.
What was it? Sorry, missed that. What was it?
There's basically an obstacle was blocking the east tunnel, so I said carry on.
Soft and spongy. That sounds like it's gonna have some... I don't know. That sounds like a living organism. I'm going to climb over it.
You clamber onto the soft boulder, half expecting to be engulfed by it at any moment. Getting over it is difficult, as your limbs sink into its soft casing, but eventually you manage to struggle over it, relieved to be back on firm ground. You press on east, where the tunnel makes a turn to the left and heads north for as far as you can see. The footprints you are following start to peter out as the tunnel becomes gradually drier. Soon, you are beyond the dripping roof and the pools on the floor. You notice the air becoming hotter, and you find yourself panting, even though you are walking quite slowly. In a small recess on the left-hand wall, you see a section of bamboo standing on its end. Lifting it down, you see it is filled with a clear liquid. Your throat is painfully dry, and you feel a little dizzy from the heat in the tunnel.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Nice little effect here.
Yeah, we have a nice heat effect. I reckon that thing that I clambered over would have been some sort of like monster, a troll, and if I would have stabbed it, it probably would have came alive.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Don't drink it.
All right, we're gonna just die first then. So okay, game over.
You shake your head, trying desperately to stop yourself from blacking out, but the heat is too much for you, and you fall unconscious to the floor.
For fuck's sake, Oddie.
Wishing you had a cool drink. This will be a test of your skill.
Oddie failed us already.
We'll roll
Typical.
2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current skill score, you have been skillful. But if it's higher, then your skill will have been found lacking.
Oh, here we go.
So we got
Auto.
Your
auto
immense
roll.
strength and grim determination and our skillful dice roll keeps you from falling unconscious to the floor. You grit your teeth and press on resolutely, as mercifully the temperature drops rapidly and soon feels almost cool again. On the left-hand side of the tunnel is a closed door. It has a small iron plate in it, which looks like it might slide open.
All right, Josh, what are you gonna do? You're gonna slide the iron plate.
The small plate slides open easily, and you find yourself peering into a room with a deep pit in the floor behind the door. On the opposite wall, there is a coil of rope hanging on one of 2 iron hooks.
Sounds like Indiana Jones. Okay, continue north along the tunnel. Open the door and jump over the pit and take the rope. Oh, do you know what? I think that's a bit risky. I mean, this ain't no Indiana Jones movie. What, a piece of rope? Fuck that. Now, if it was like a giant claymore or a bastard sword, I might go for it. But for a bit of rope, I don't think it's worth it. I'm going to continue north, I think.
Ahead, you see that the tunnel turns sharply to the left. You turn a corner and almost bump straight into 2 fierce-looking orcs, armed with morning stars and wearing leather armor. You are totally unprepared for them and struggle to ready your weapons.
Oh,
The
skill
orcs
check.
roar. And as you draw your sword, one of them swings its morning star at you, which thuds into your arm, knocking your sword to the floor. You must fight them barehanded,
Oh
reducing
my God,
your
already.
skill by 4 for the duration of the combat. Fortunately, the tunnel is too narrow for both orcs to attack you at once, so you fight them, one at a time.
Oh, go for it. Right, this is a speed one, so we can.
You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow.
Okay, we're doing pretty good. Beat the fuck out of it. So where are the white dice then?
You drop to the ground, sweeping away the orc's legs.
Nice.
Its head hits the ground hard with a sickening crunch.
Alright, well, we've battered the first one. You might have 1 dice now, because he's, like, disabled. Oh, shit. Oh, draw.
You duck under the orc's morning star, grab it, and ram its head hard into the wall. The first orc slumps lifeless to the floor, so you turn your attention to the other.
Oh, Nave. Josh is the one controlling the fight in here. Oh,
You
Josh,
parry.
for God's sake, Josh.
But your enemy is too fast, and you crack your head on the floor as it knocks you to the ground.
Oh, we've lost a hit point there, I think. Alright, come on, beat the hell out of it. Bob and weave. Oh, no.
The orc's morning star is a formidable weapon, and you can't stop it smashing into your ankles, knocking you off balance.
Come on, for God's sake. Okay, got him that time. Snake eyes, he's
You
got.
hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow. Your fists are sore from the fight, but you pick up your sword and see if the orcs had anything of use. Inside one of the orcs' pockets, you find 1 gold piece and a hollow wooden tube. You put your findings in your backpack and set off west. As you walk along, droplets of water again start falling from the tunnel's ceiling. Heading west, you see wet footprints made by the same boots that you followed earlier. They lead to a closed iron door in the right-hand wall of the tunnel, but do not seem to go any further.
I think I'm going to open our iron door. No, is it? Whose pick is it? It's Luke's, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Oddie, you never had your turn, did you? Because it was the combat. Yeah. Oh, nice. It's gone back. Oh, is that a save point? The floppy disk. Oh, you can. Oh, yeah. You can replay from that chapter. Well, that's quite a nice feature.
Yeah, that's cool.
We actually have a chat box on the right hand side of our screen because we're not using 2 monitors. So I'm reading all these comments across the map. That's why we can't see it so well. But you know, you've got a bit of give and take, haven't you? Right, Oddie, it's your turn. So you go ahead. Don't open that door. Open the door, Josh.
The door opens into a large chamber, where you are shocked to see one of your rivals who has obviously
God.
met a sudden gory death. It is one of the barbarians, and he is impaled on several long iron spikes that are fixed to a frame
Indiana
which has
Jones, isn't it?
sprung out of the floor. A lot of debris litters the floor, concealing a hidden tripwire which he must have stepped on, releasing the spiked frame. In the far wall is an alcove in which you can see a silver goblet standing on a small wooden table.
Okay, and it's back to you, isn't it?
You walk slowly over to the alcove, carefully checking the floor for any more hidden traps. You see that the goblet contains a sparkling red liquid.
Need to change the country west, leave the goblet, and walk back. Drink the red liquid. That's a risky one, isn't it? Oh, sounds stupid though. I think we should drink the red liquid because.
We'll not search the barbarian, maybe. You never know.
But I think the red liquid's more valuable than the barbarian because it's on display. It looks like it's a treasure someone wants. I reckon it's going to give us some sort of rage or bloodlust or something. So I'm going to drink the red liquid, which is probably one of the worst decisions ever, but we'll see.
As you lift the goblet, it releases a sprung catch, and a dart shoots out of the wooden table leg. This will be a test of your luck.
All right, this better be worth it. Our luck's
Well,
that shit.
roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky. But if the roll is higher than your luck score, then your luck isn't in.
Ooh.
Your reflexes are sharp,
Thank God for that.
and you quickly jump aside.
Where I'm wearing cloth, and
The
I.
dart whistles past, only just missing you, and thuds into the opposite wall. You see the goblet lying on the floor, and the red liquid running
Oh, for
away in
fuck's sake, I don't
rivulets
get to
over the
drink
grey
it?
stone. At least the goblet may be of use, so you put it in your backpack.
All right, well, at least we did get the goblet. It might be worth a fortune. It probably is, because why would it be like on display like that?
Yeah.
All right, Audie, it's your turn. Are we going to search the barbarian and or leave the chamber?
The pouch on the barbarian's belt is empty, apart from some strange-looking dried meat wrapped in a cloth.
Right, Josh, your turn.
We're going to eat it.
Already, we're not even hungry yet.
The meat contains herbs,
Oh, true.
which increase your strength, adding 3 to your stamina score. You leave the chamber
Oh, that's good.
to continue west.
Right, we're back. Are we full HP
The
now?
passage soon leads to a junction where you notice more footprints on the floor, possibly as many as 3 pairs heading north from the south passage. You decide to follow them to where the passage opens out into a wide cavern, which is darker but much drier. Ahead, you see the footprints gradually fade, then disappear. There is a large idol in the center of the cavern that must be 6 meters high. In its head are jeweled eyes, each as big as your fist. On either side of the idol stand 2 giant stuffed, bird-like creatures.
Oh, walk through the cave to the tunnel on the opposite wall. Oh, do you know what? Those jewels are irresistible. I'm gonna have to climb it and try. I need those jewels.
Are you trying to sabotage this run?
I'm definitely not trying to
The
sabotage this
idol
run.
is very
I'm just very
smooth
greedy.
and will be difficult to climb. Some rope would have been ideal
Oh, for
this
fuck's
task,
sake,
but
Josh!
alas,
My choice.
you don't have any. So slowly and carefully, you begin to climb the idol. You're about to grab hold of its large ear when suddenly your foot slips. We'll need to check how lucky you are.
Something tells
We'll
me we're
roll
not going to
2
get lucky
dice,
again.
and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky. But if the number rolled is
I'm a
higher
very
than your
greedy
current
burglar.
luck score, you have been unlucky.
Oh, fuck. We broke our
You
ankle.
lose your balance and tumble headlong to the floor, losing 2 stamina points.
Okay, Audie, your turn. Are you going to continue this? Let's see what Audie's going to do. I wonder if Audie's a very greedy burglar too. Oh my, what a coward. He's leaving it. Cowardice.
No.
Yellow belly.
Not much farther down the tunnel,
They're worth 1,000
you
gold
come
pieces
to a
each.
closed door on your left. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently but hear nothing.
Alright, Josh.
You enter a room which is small and completely empty. As soon as you are inside, the door slams shut behind you. Suddenly a voice booms out of nowhere, shouting, "Welcome to Deathtrap Dungeon, the ingenious killer labyrinth of my master. Adventurer, I trust you will pay your respects to my master by shouting out his name."
Oh my god. Well, I didn't read the book, so let's try and pronounce this. Let's make an ass out of myself, okay? Succumvit is a worm. Hell succumvit. Well, I'm just gonna shout out hell succumvit because I don't want to upset anybody.
You take a deep breath and shout, "Hail Succumvit!" Once again, the mysterious voice calls out. Only this time its tone is full of contempt and derision. "So, we have a sniveling weed in our midst, do we?" sneers the voice. "My master has a special gift for you, loathsome creep." Suddenly,
Harsh?
water starts pouring into the room through a hole in the ceiling. It soon rises above your ankles, and there is no apparent way of escape. You wade back to the door. It is firmly locked, but in desperation you try ramming it with your shoulder. We'll see how skillful you really are. Remember, a roll equal to or less than your skill score means you have been skillful, but a roll higher than your skill could end.
Well, our skill's on 9. Average is 7, so we've got a good chance of passing anyway.
The door cannot withstand the furious battering you are giving it.
What? Oh, skill of
The
the sword.
center panel cracks
What, that's
and
combat?
splinters, enabling you to kick a hole in it
Oh.
large enough for you
Oh,
to
yeah, you might be
squeeze
right.
through.
So,
So,
Oh, that's high then.
but happy to have survived
We
your
can't lose then on
ordeal,
2 dices.
no.
you set off north again.
Oh, maybe that's why you could
The
drop your
tunnel
weapons and stuff like that
twists
to
and
bring your skill
turns,
down.
but
Yeah,
keep
see, when we
steadily
have to
north.
even down there, we'll drop the sword.
Yeah.
Ahead, you see a thin shaft of blue light streaming down from the ceiling to the floor. It sparkles and shimmers, and you can see images of laughing faces in the light.
Audie? Are you gonna walk around the light, or are you gonna be a badass and walk straight into it? Face to face with the
I don't know
faces.
if you did, so I went for the door.
Did you? Oh, didn't I just say hell circumvit?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I thought it was
The rain did.
Oh, Audie, you're such a pussy. Goddamn. Face
You
to
come
face.
to an arched doorway set in the right-hand wall of the tunnel. The heavy stone door is closed, but there is an iron latch and a round handle.
Josh.
Lifting the latch and pushing the heavy stone door open, you find yourself in a large cabin. The light is dim and murky, but as your eyes begin to adjust, you see that the walls are covered in green algae and running with moisture. The floor is strewn with straw. The atmosphere is warm, damp, and fetid, and a soft humming sound fills the air. You step gingerly through the straw towards a corner of the cabin where there appears to be a shallow pit. Peering warily into the pit, you are disgusted to see a mass of pale, writhing worms, some as much as 1/2 meter long. Nauseated, you are about to turn away when you notice that their undulating bodies are swarming around a dagger, its point held fast in a crack in the pit floor. The hilt is cased in black leather, studded with opals, and the blade is fashioned from a strange, reddish-black burnished metal you have never seen before. You long to touch the dagger, but this would mean plunging your hand in among the writhing worm.
Oh, I don't think we need a dagger. We already have like a sword, right?
Well, yeah.
I know everyone's going to want to say take the dagger, but I don't think we need it. I'm just going to back away in disgust. I'm not going to roll for that.
Unable to face the thought of the touch of the writhing worms, you leave the cabin and continue north. The tunnel ends shortly at a junction.
Well, there's
Looking
two pussies
left
there.
and
Josh,
right,
are you going to turn into a
you
pussy
see
as well?
a narrow passage disappearing into the dim
yeah,
distance.
good for you. Alright, so, it's Oddie's turn. Go east or go west?
You walk down the passage and soon find yourself standing at the edge of a deep, dark pit. The passage continues east on the other side of the pit. You think you could probably jump over the pit, but you're not sure. There is a rope hanging down from the ceiling over the center of the pit.
Reach for the rope of your sword to enable you to swing across the pit. Jump over the pit carrying all your possessions. Throw your shield over the pit and jump after it. Josh, what are you going to do?
I'm not afraid of shield either, but can jump out.
Okay.
Just as you're about to release the shield and throw it over the pit, it slips from your fingers and rolls away.
Oh, Jesus.
You are unable to catch it before it falls over the edge of the pit, clattering down its sides to the bottom. The loss of your shield reduces your fighting ability, decreasing your skill points by 1.
Oh, Christ.
Cursing your own clumsiness, you step forward, leap across the pit, and land safely on the other side. You waste no time, but head off, east. The tunnel makes a sudden left turn and continues north, as far as you can see. You soon arrive at a closed wooden door in the left-hand wall.
I'm gonna keep going north.
Only a few meters further down the passage, you see another closed door in the left-hand wall. The letter X is scratched into its center panel. Putting your ear to the door, you listen intently, but can hear nothing.
Right, Josh. Oh, sorry, Oddie. Oh, open it. Okay. It's been adventurous.
The door
There's 12 goblins inside.
opens into a large room. Looking around, you see an alcove in the west wall. In the middle of the room, sitting in the chair, is the skeleton of an armed warrior, possibly a contestant from years gone
like
by.
Conan the Barbarian.
The skeletal fingers of its right hand grip a crumpled parchment.
Alright, Josh.
At the back of the alcove are some steps leading down into a cellar. Cobwebs brush your face as you descend, The cellar ceiling is quite low, and the floor is strewn with debris. In the middle of the wall opposite you is an archway, which leads into another crystal-lit tunnel. There are large mushrooms growing on the debris to your right.
Oh God. Eat the mushrooms. That sounds like a very bad idea to me. I think that's a very iffy idea, so I'm gonna go for the archway.
The tunnel continues west for several hundred meters, finally ending at some steps leading up to a closed trapdoor. You climb the steps slowly, hearing muffled voices above you. In the dim light, you can see that the trapdoor is not locked.
Right, Oddie. Oh, you either go in all guns blazing, or you knock on it. So interesting. All right, he's bursting through.
You throw the trapdoor open and run up the steps into a bright, lantern-lit room. Two goblins are sharpening their short swords on
Ollie,
a
that's a good
stone
decision.
set in the middle of the floor. You catch them momentarily off guard, but they quickly recover and both rush forward to attack you. A point of note here, adventurer. Because of the shape of the room, both goblins will have a separate attack on you in each attack round. However, here your attack will only be effective on one of the goblins. Against the other, you must still use your attack strength in a normal way. But even if your attack would have been effective, you will not wound it. It will just count this as though you have defended yourself. However,
so it's a defense roll,
if
basically.
its attack strength is greater, it will have wounded you in the normal way.
Right. All right. Josh is just gonna have to do the fighting. Oh, that's bad.
Readying yourself for another attack, you fail to see the rock flying towards you. Your stamina is reduced as it lands hard in your stomach.
We do have a lot of HP. Oh, for fuck's sake.
You both swing for each other, and in the confusion, both miss.
I was very, very lucky. Was that a luck stat that triggered there?
You thrust your sword, and you clearly damage the creature.
He's only got 2 HP left. Oh, double 6. That should be. Wow, he got double 5.
You lunge at the creature's stomach with your sword drawn, but the creature whips around, parrying your blow. Neither of you are harmed.
Oh yeah, one's defense. Of course it is. Yeah, you're right, Oddie. Of course.
Your enemy is strong, but slow, and screams in pain as your sword sinks into his leg.
Right, that one's got. Okay, this is defense one. Oh no.
You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow.
God, our rolls are shit.
You
here.
thrust your sword, and you clearly damage the creature. Your enemy is strong, but slow, and screams in pain as your sword sinks into his leg. Triumphant in one of your toughest battles to date, you see that the only furniture in the goblin's room is a table, 2 chairs, and a cupboard on the wall.
Doesn't matter that you're. Yeah, he's right.
There are
Yeah, you're
2
right.
closed doors, one in the west wall and the other in the north wall.
It's Oddie's pick still, isn't it? No, he didn't. He charged in, didn't he? So it's your pick.
The cupboard contains a wooden mallet and 10 iron spikes, which you put in your backpack while wondering which door to open.
West.
The door opens into another tunnel. Walking west, you soon arrive at another door in the north wall.
Audie. I like how it just loops over and over again, like the guy just sitting there. Cool.
The door opens into a small room in which there is a human skull with jeweled eyes resting on the top of a marble plinth. A row of loaded crossbows is fixed to the left-hand wall, and two small wooden balls lie on the floor just inside the door. You take aim and hurl the wooden ball at the skull. A test of skill. The wooden ball smashes into the skull, knocking it off the plinth and onto the floor. Much to your surprise, the crossbows do not release their deadly bolts. You step into the room cautiously and pick the skull up off the floor. You recognize the yellow jeweled eyes as topaz and eagerly pluck them from their sockets. You put them in your backpack, wondering whether or not a trap still awaits you in the room.
Replace the skull, okay. I'm gonna get down on all fours and crawl out there like a dog. Because I'm terrified.
A tickling sensation runs down your spine as you crawl carefully out of the room. Back in the tunnel, you heave a sigh of relief. Throw the skull back into the room and slam the door shut. Pleased with your good fortune, you set off west. Once
Okay,
again.
we've got a couple of topaz, yeah.
The tunnel takes a sharp turn. You find yourself in a sort of gallery, lined with mirrors for some 20 meters. A human skeleton appears to be pulled halfway through the mirror along the right-hand wall. Suddenly, a grotesque being with 4 arms and 4 screaming faces emerges from the mirror, barring your way ahead. It walks slowly towards you, each arm outstretched to grab you. It is a mirror demon from another dimensional plane, come to take your spirit.
Oh, shit just got very real then. Yep. This mirror, is this going to be like the fight with in Conan the Destroyer? Yeah. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
You swing your sword against the mirror with all your might, but to no effect. The mirror does not break,
shit.
and the mirror demon keeps advancing.
Oh, attack the mirror demon or try to smash the mirrors again.
I'm going to try to smash them again, you never know.
Yeah.
The mirror demon is almost on top of you when, summoning all your strength, you strike one final blow against the mirror with your sword. A clear test of your skill. The mirror shatters, sending fragments of glass flying everywhere. The mirror demon's 4 faces cry out in agony, and cracks appear all over them. They too shatter and fall to the floor in shards of broken glass. I'm sorry to say you cut your sword arm badly while smashing the mirror. Although your strength is unaffected, your weapon skill is diminished, losing you 2 skill points.
Oh,
However,
fuck.
undeterred by your experience, you continue your journey north.
No, we're losing our skill points. We have to
In front of you
try to bring
are
it
2
back
flights of stone steps separated by a banister of rat skulls.
Are these the original drawings from the D&D book? Audie might know, because I think he knows a lot more about it than we do, but I assume it is. Because they're pretty well drawn. Oh, he said, yeah, they are. That's pretty nice, isn't it? It's got like that legitimate...
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Audie, how close is this to like the genuine D&D experience, would you say? Because you know more about it than me. Is this quite legitimate? And whose turn is it anyway? It's my turn. So what is this? Climb the right hand steps, climb the left hand steps. Oh fuck. Oh, it's word for word. Oh, that's pretty cool then. Alright, I'm gonna say mostly everyone goes right, so I'm gonna go left. I'm gonna go left. Don't know why.
Treading carefully, you slowly make your way up the steps. You soon reach the top without mishap and continue along the new tunnel, which takes the sharp turn right. After 100 meters in the tunnel, you come to a junction. Looking left, you see the dead bodies of 2 orc guards. At least one of your rivals in the Trial of Champions must still be ahead of you.
Yeah, we do have a skill
A
potion.
quick search of the bodies produces nothing apart from a necklace of teeth hanging around the neck of one of the orcs.
See, we can drink. If you click that potion, can we drink it now? Would it on the left hand? Oh yeah. Can we equip like a sword and different weapon? Okay, try the other one.
You haven't paid for a skill.
I think you started with a potion, didn't we? Some kind of potion.
Well, I guess we didn't, so this will be golden.
What about the left hand side of the? Yeah, can you click that?
Oh, listen, that's it then. Oh yeah, that's our food. That basically generates health.
Yeah, should we click on the bottom one? Should we get our skill back up? Is it? I don't see why we can't drink a skill potion.
Yeah, should we?
Alright, let's drink one. Let's get our level back up. Cool, give us 3. That's good.
Should we eat one thingy? Maybe we've got...
Yeah, because we were on 16. Okay, back up.
Right,
Okay.
back to Nuclear.
Back to Oddie. He wants to wear it.
So the necklace of teeth, was it?
Oddie
The
likes wearing
necklace
fucking necklaces.
Is
Big
an
Oddie.
amulet of strength,
Oh, nice.
which adds 1 skill point and 1 stamina point. Pleased with your find, you continue your quest north. The tunnel soon ends at a junction. Standing there alone and wondering which way to go is one of your rivals. It is one of the barbarians. You call out to him, but at first he does not answer. He merely stares at you coldly, his hands firmly gripping his axe. You walk up to him and ask which way he is heading. He grunts his reply, saying that he is going west, and you may go with him if you wish.
Whose turn is it?
Mine. I'd rest with barbed clothes off with heavy stealing. I think we caught it actually. I heard it.
Yeah, I probably would have did that as well.
Although you are slightly uneasy in each other's company, knowing that there can only be one winner in the Trial of Champions, you are both content to share in the benefits of a temporary alliance. And you begin to tell each other of your exploits so far, of the monsters and traps encountered and the dangers overcome. Walking along, you soon come to the edge of a wide pit. It is too deep and dark to see to the bottom. The barbarian suggests he lowers you to the bottom with his rope, saying he has a torch which he can light for you to use.
Oh, wow. Suggest that you both jump over the pit instead. Offer to lower him down if he's eager to investigate and accept the barbs. Do you know what? This motherfucker is going to be like Dark Souls. That guy who pushes you down the pit and still wants to steal your stuff.
Or the fake Barry Burton, the way he goes off and leaves you down the pit.
Yeah, or the Barry Burton strategy. Just drop the rope on you intentionally. I'm gonna make his ass go down first, because this is, well, it's called Deathtrap Dungeon for a reason, right? So we're gonna offer to lower his ass down there.
The barbarian, who tells you he is called Throm, ties the rope around his waist, giving you the free end. As he lights the torch, you see a look of distrust in his eyes. Slowly, he climbs over the edge of the pit, while you brace yourself and take the strain of the rope. As you lower him little by little, you see the smooth sides of the pit, illuminated by Throm's torch. He finally reaches the bottom and calls up to you, saying that there is another tunnel running north. He tells you to secure the rope around a rock protruding from the edge of the pit and lower yourself to the bottom.
Abandon the barbarian anyway. So we just made him go down the pit for no reason and we're going to run away from him. Or stay with the barbarian and go north. Alright, Oddie, what's your choice? Oh, good lad.
After tying the rope around the rock, you lower yourself slowly to the bottom of the pit. Throm retrieves his rope by shaking it off the rock, and you set off together down the new tunnel.
I like how we got an
On
ally
a
with us.
stone
That's great.
ledge in the tunnel wall,
For how long?
you see two dusty leather-bound books. Throm grunts his contempt for the written word, urging you to leave the books and hurry on.
Alright, your choice.
As you open the book, it immediately begins to disintegrate, the pages turning to dust in your hands. You manage to keep a few fragments and read the handwritten script. The book appears to be about monsters, and from what you can make out, it contains a full description of a monster called the Blood Beast. It is a horrific, bloated creature with tough, spiny skin and facial blisters which burst open to become mock eyes, evolved to hide the Blood Beast's only weak spot, the real eyes. Blood beasts usually dwell in pools of fetid slime which give off a poisonous gas so strong that it alone can easily knock people unconscious. The blood beast, although too bulbous to haul itself out of its slime pool, has a long and vicious tongue which it wraps around its victims before it drags them into its pool. As the helpless and still living victim's flesh decomposes in the vile slime, the blood beast will feed on it. You tell Throm about the grotesque blood beast. He merely shrugs his shoulders and tells you to get going.
I don't want to read about any more books. I think we should just continue.
The tunnel turns sharply to the right, continuing east for as far as you can see. Throm stops and tells you to halt as well. He turns his head slowly from side to side, listening. I hear footsteps coming down the tunnel towards us, he whispers. Draw your sword. You both crouch down to hide in the shadows, and not a minute too soon. For a moment later, you see the silhouette of two armed guards. Throm jumps up and dashes forward, screaming a loud battle cry. They are two cave trolls. Throm attacks the first one with his battle axe, and you run to his aid to attack the second.
Is Throm a kind of idiot? Why didn't he just stay hidden? He just had to fight, didn't he? He's gonna get us killed, this guy.
You parry the attack, but your enemy is too strong, and you crack your head on the floor as you hit the ground.
That's Throm's fault.
You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow. You drop to the ground, sweeping away the troll's legs. It howls as its head hits the hard ground. You look to the left and see Throm standing over the cave troll he has slain. Blood is pouring out from a deep cut in his shoulder, but it does not seem to worry him. You search the bodies of the cave trolls, but find nothing apart from a bone ring on a leather cord hanging round the neck of one of them. The ring is engraved with a symbol which Throm recognizes. He explains that it must have belonged to druids of the north, and that an ancient talisman such as this will increase your powers if your body is able to accept it.
Oh, well, we're going to have to put on the ring, I think. You know, hopefully it's a strength ring.
As soon as you put the ring on your finger, Your whole body starts to shake. We'll see how skillful you really are. Remember, a roll equal to or less than your skill score means you've been skillful, but a roll higher than your skill could end badly.
We can't actually lose this.
Your body continues to vibrate intensely, and you feel as if you're about to pass out. But your strength is great, and you manage to withstand the tremendous shock to your system. Finally, you calm down and begin to feel the ring's beneficial powers working on you and adding 3 stamina points. You see Throm looking at you anxiously, so you reassure him that you are fully recovered. He strides off east.
He's the one that needs to heal, really. He got a giant wound, hasn't he? He got a gaping wound on his shoulder, and he just shrugged it off like John Matrix.
A damp cavern with a high ceiling and rock-strewn floor. Long and wet, teeth-like stalactites hang down threateningly. Their constant dripping creates milky pools on the floor. The tunnel carries on through an archway carved in the shape of a demonic mouse.
All right, an Audi.
You walk around the cavern, but find nothing of interest. Throm calls out behind you, saying that he has found a leather pouch under a pile of rocks. Opening the pouch, he laughs out loud as a tiny mouse runs through his fingers and scurries off into the crevice behind 2 boulders. Suddenly, you hear the sound of cracking rock above you and look up to see stalactites breaking off from the roof. Throm's booming laugh, which still echoes through the chamber, has made the stalactites vibrate and break off. You yell at Throm to run through the archway as the stalactites start to crash to the floor. This will be a test of your luck.
Oh, good.
Despite the stalactites crashing all around you, you manage to dash through the archway without injury. You look around and see Throm thundering towards you, one arm held over his head for protection. He dashes into the tunnel and leans against the cold wall, panting heavily, apologizing for starting the rockfall, and offers you his hand to shake. You tell Throm that maybe he should use sign language in future, even for laughing. You both smile and head east once more.
Audie's got a man
The
crush on
tunnel
Throm.
ends at a large oak door. Throm wastes no time in testing the handle and is somewhat surprised to find the door unlocked. He pushes it open and walks into a torch-lit chamber. Sitting alone on an ornate chair is a dwarf who bids you enter.
Is it Gimli?
As you do so,
Son
the
of
oak
Gawain.
door swings shut behind you. Adventurers, you have done well to get this far, says the dwarf in a deep voice. However, as you both know, there can only be one winner in the Trial of Champions. As Trial Master, it is my duty to Baron Circumvit to let only the most able continue.
Oh no, we're gonna have to fight each other.
Therefore, I must devise a test of wits and strength to eliminate one of you.
Oh no.
Please do not attempt to dispose of me. It will be utterly pointless, for, as you can see, there is no obvious way out of this chamber, and only I know where the hidden exit lies. Know if you would care to decide between you who will go first. I shall make the necessary preparations. You look at Throm, suddenly angry that your effective partnership might come to an end. He leans over and whispers in your ear that you should try to kill the dwarf and worry about the exit later.
I like From as well. I'm starting to like him as well. Okay, whose turn is it?
One.
All right, Josh. What were you gonna do? Wait a minute. We could persuade From to go through with the dwarf's test, or join From in attacking the dwarf.
God.
I know what I would do, but yeah, what do you want to do?
You know what? We look like we like From.
We like From. Oh, we're gonna join From. Fuck this dwarf.
As you rush towards the dwarf, he pulls 2 hand darts from his belt and throws them at you and Throm, hitting both of you in the leg. You are both instantly paralyzed by the poison on the tip of the dart, losing you 2 stamina points. As though glued to the floor, you can only watch as the dwarf retrieves his dart from your thigh. He asks you whether you are willing to enter his contest now. You strain to nod your head. Slowly, the effects of the poison wear off and mobility returns. The dwarf beckons you to follow him, telling Throm to await his return. He opens a secret door in the chamber wall, and you follow him into a small circular room. He closes
Yeah, I
the
would've
door
done the
behind
same.
you and hands you 2 bone dice, telling you to throw them on the floor. You roll a 6 and a 2, a total of 8. The dwarf asks you to roll again, but this time you must predict the total.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Will it be the same, higher, or lower than the 8?
Well, it's statistically, it's going to be lower. So I'll say this is going to be lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dwarf congratulates you for guessing correctly. He tells you that you must now progress to the second stage of the test. He reaches for a wicker basket and tells you that a snake is held within it. He tips the basket over, and the snake drops onto the floor. It is a cobra, and it rears up in the air, ready to strike. The dwarf tells you that he wishes to test your reactions. Barehanded, you must grasp the cobra below its head, avoiding its deadly fangs. You crouch down on the floor, tensing yourself for the moment to seize it. This will be a tough test of your skill.
Well, we can't ever
With
lose, can we?
lightning speed, you thrust
Not
your
yet.
hand out and grip the cobra just below its open mouth. You lift it up, and with your arm outstretched, you dangle it in front of the dwarf. He doesn't flinch, but says in his calm, expressionless way,
Please put the cobra back in the basket and prepare for the final part of the test. Follow me.
You do what he says and follow him back into the chamber, where Throm is pacing up and down, obviously ill at ease. You wave to him while the dwarf opens a second secret door and tells you to walk on through and wait for him. Again you comply, and you find yourself in another circular room, although this one resembles a small arena. The floor is covered with sand, and a small balcony runs around the arena wall. Opposite the secret entrance you came in through is an ominous-looking wooden door. Suddenly you hear a shout, and you look up to see the smiling dwarf standing on the balcony. He throws 2 pieces of paper down to you. On one of them, the words, "No crop is," are written. On the other, "Ruin moat." In his ever-calm voice, he says,
If you rearrange the letters of the words, you will find the names of 2 creatures. You may choose which one to fight in my arena of death.
Can you identify the creature by rearranging the letters?
I can't identify either of the creatures. Fight the anagram of ruined moat.
No, this is up to Luke.
What would that be? I have no idea.
Oh, it's not. It's not to want to see.
Is that? Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm trying to work out myself though, but I can't think of anything. But I have no idea what it could be.
Ruin me.
Ollie, do you even know what that is?
You call out to the dwarf that you are ready to fight the Minotaur.
Oh, it's a
The
Minotaur.
wooden door rises slowly,
Oh,
and
we
you
are
see
screwed.
the fearsome beast.
A
half
Minotaur,
man,
we're screwed.
half bull, step into the arena. Steam blows from its nostrils as it works itself up into a rage, ready to attack. Suddenly it rushes forward, swinging its double-headed axe.
And you picked it? You picked a Minotaur? Oh my god, we're gonna get battered.
The swinging double-headed axe is a formidable weapon, and you shriek as it sinks into your arm. The Minotaur leans forward and takes a run at you. Speed is impressive, but you duck and roll aside, landing a heavy blow on its shin. You manage to get around the back of your enemy, but it quickly kicks backward, catching you agonizingly in the stomach. The dwarf calls down from the balcony, congratulating you on your victory. He throws the sack down into the arena and tells you to relax and regain your strength for the final part of the test. Then he walks off, saying he will return in about 10 minutes. You open the sack and find a jug of wine and a cooked chicken. The food and drink are excellent and you feel much better, gaining 2 more stamina points. Fully satisfied, you sit down and await the dwarf's return. After about 20 minutes, the dwarf reappears on the balcony. He calls down to you, saying,
Well, I do have an interesting problem on my hands. Prepare to fight your next opponent.
Oh no.
The wooden door rises once
From's
again,
gonna be entering soon.
and you are surprised to see a familiar
Oh
face.
no.
It is Throm. He is cut and badly bruised and doesn't seem to recognize you. He is clearly delirious as he staggers forward with his axe,
he's on a
raised to
deathbed
attack
anyway.
you. The dwarf laughs and says,
The cobra bit him, but he has the strength of an ox and managed to carry on, even though most men would have died. Now you must fight him to decide finally which of you will continue the trial of champions.
You shout abuse of the dwarf, protesting the cruelty of such a contest.
Poor From.
He merely laughs, and you have no option but to defend yourself against poor Throm. Despite his wounds, he is immensely strong.
Oh, we've got no choice but to fight him. Got to put him out of his misery. Oh, double 6 as well.
You hurl yourself
We
at
took
Throm,
From's head off.
fists flailing, and land a stunning blow on his chin.
Oh man, From's getting
Drop
fucked
to
up
the
here.
ground, sweeping away Throm's legs. You hate it as he howls as his head hits the hard ground.
Oh, poor From. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Throm is tall, and you duck, grab him, and ram his head hard into the wall.
Doesn't seem right, does it?
Exhausted by your long duel, you fall to your knees as you stare at Throm's still body. A bitter loathing for the dwarf fills your heart. Somehow, you will avenge Throm.
I was thinking the same. We need to kill this
Engulfed
dwarf.
in your hatred, you do not notice the dwarf enter the arena until he is standing right in front of you, a loaded crossbow aimed at your chest.
I know what you are thinking,
He says calmly.
but remember that only I know the way out of here. Get up. It's time for you to leave.
Once on your feet, the dwarf indicates that you should walk ahead of him. Back in the chamber, he crosses over to the northern wall and pushes against one of its stones. A door-like section of the wall swings out, opening into another crystal-lit tunnel. With his crossbow still aimed at your chest, the dwarf smiles, saying,
Good luck.
I think we'll mourn for From later.
Well,
Shed no tears for From because he's going to go down in legend forever.
that was actually next for what we can.
Well, I'm going to fucking smash him straight in the nose.
the dwarf is expecting your move. Furthermore, you are not as fast as you should be because of your recent ordeal, so he easily evades your punch, saying,
I could kill you now if I wished, but I yearn for a hand-to-hand fight.
Then he throws down his crossbow and draws an axe from his belt. Despite your fatigue, you think only of vengeance. Because of your condition, you must reduce your skill by 2 for the duration of the battle.
Oh, God.
Why did you take them on?
We're definitely going to avenge
You
From.
run at the dwarf, but it's ready for you and lands a punch squarely on your chin.
He's a dwarf. He can't even reach our chin, can he? We could arch our head backwards.
The dwarf runs at you, but you twist aside as your sword lands home.
Got him.
You lunge at the dwarf's stomach with your sword drawn. It tries to move, but you land a painful blow. The now dead dwarf's chainmail coat is of the finest quality iron, obviously made by a master armorer. You strip it from his body and place it over your head, gaining you 1 skill point. There is nothing else of use to you in the chamber, so you decide to investigate the new tunnel,
Well, we can bury From in the
which
chamber,
soon
can't we?
divides into
Something we
2.
can do.
You hear a buzzing sound coming from the western branch.
Alright, Oddie. Alright, shed tears, option 1.
There is a large panel of glass in the left-hand wall of the tunnel. Through it, you can see a bright, torch-lit room teeming with giant insects of every possible description. Bees, wasps, beetles,
Oh,
ticks.
spiders, oh my god.
Even the mites are over 6 centimeters long. The noise is threatening. In the middle of the room, a jeweled crown lies on top of a small table. What looks like a large diamond
Oh
is
my
set
god, diamond this
in
time.
the middle of the crown.
Thank god it's not my turn. Whose turn is it? Alright. Return to the junction, continue west, or break the glass and try to snatch the crown.
You know what? I think that is a bad idea.
Alright,
Ahead.
Josh is
In the far distance,
is
you
not a
hear
greedy
the
burglar
sound
like
of
me.
slow footsteps coming towards you. Unsure of who or what might be approaching, you look around for a place to hide. You see a large crack in the tunnel wall which lies in shadow.
well, I'm gonna be like Garrett from the Thief series. I'm gonna hide in the shadows because, yeah. I'm gonna definitely hide.
You have to squeeze yourself deep into the crack to conceal yourself completely. From this cramped position, you are unable to see the owner of the feet that shuffle slowly by. A minute later, all is quiet again as you pull yourself back out into the tunnel and head west. After a short while, you arrive at another junction in the tunnel with a choice of 2 directions.
Alright, Oddie. Actually, Oddie's choice was to eat, so back to you, Josh.
The tunnel turns sharply to the right and continues north for as far as you can see. There is a door in the left-hand wall which is ajar, and you hear someone cry for help from the other side of it.
Your choice.
No, yours. Mine's it? No, it's mine.
Yeah.
The other person in between the door.
It's up to you.
Right, we got to see what's inside.
The door opens into a small room with a straw-covered floor. There is a large draped cage standing some 2 meters high in the center of the room. A cord fixed to the top of the drape runs through an iron ring in the ceiling and hangs down to the floor.
Well, I don't think. Oh, now we're in there. I don't think there's any point leaving it. I'm gonna have to pull the drape up. I want to see what it reveals. Like,
You
it's gonna
pull
be a
the
person in
cord
there.
and watch the drape as it rises up the sides of an iron cage. The woman's voice urges you to be quick, telling you that the room is booby-trapped, so that the floor will fall away in 1 minute because of your extra weight.
Audie, are you gonna help the young lass, or are you gonna run away and leave her behind? Leave her screaming. What are you gonna do? I could read Audie's mind anyway. All right, he's already made the decision as soon as they said a woman's voice.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
The drape rises to the top of the cage, and there, to your horror, you see the face of an aged woman whose hair is a mass of seething snakes.
Oh fuck!
It is the dreaded Medusa.
We got baited.
Are you lucky enough to avoid her gaze?
Oh, we dropped our shield as well. We can't reflect it back like Perseus did.
Recognizing the snake-like head of the Medusa, you close your eyes to avoid her deadly stare that would turn you to stone.
That was a good twist. I like that. Retreat out of the room with your eyes closed to continue north. Enter her cage with your eyes closed to dispose of her with your sword. That seems pretty barbaric, doesn't it?
I think it's just leave. I mean, I've also got to her at this point.
Well, she might drop some loot.
So I could run a close right, just like go in.
Right, Josh.
The
Josh is going to
Medusa
close his eyes and go in
shrieks
there.
as you enter her cage. Keeping your eyes
Josh, you're an
firmly
absolute
closed
badass right
and
now.
slashing your sword wildly from side to side, you feel the blade sink deep into her side and hear a loud thud as she slumps heavily to the ground.
Well, love, there's no need to jump
You
in that
open
cage
your
with her,
eyes
but you
again.
did it anyway.
Yeah, her eyes
And
are
shudder
closed behind her.
at the sight of the prostrate figure of the Medusa. Her gown is fastened by a large brooch, bearing a single bright red gem. It is a garnet,
Oh, nice.
and you prize it out of its setting, put it in your pocket, and leave the room to head north. The tunnel continues for quite a distance before you reach a junction.
I think we should keep going north. Keep following the same path.
A brown velvet curtain is draped over an archway in the eastern wall of the tunnel.
Right, Audie. What we'll do, we'll play till about 1 and then we'll call it a night there. So another hour. You up for that?
Yeah.
He's waiting very patiently, isn't he?
Very patient.
You enter a cold room, divided by a deep chasm. A rope is stretched
Oh,
taut
Christ.
across the chasm to the far side, where a magnificent winged helmet rests on top of a pole.
Right, Josh returns to... Oh my, Josh is going to walk across the tightrope.
Testing every last drop of your skill, you step nervously onto the rope, not daring to look down. Halfway across, you start to panic and lose your footing. Walking on a rope like this requires skill.
Yes, we do.
Well, test yours.
I know, in real life, Josh and Audie would definitely not walk across that rope because they're terrified of
fool.
heights. I would, because I'm
You
fearless.
manage to grab the
But
rope
those
with
two,
your hands.
oh my god.
Slowly, you haul yourself over to the far side and scramble up onto the floor. You lift the helmet off the pole and put it on your head. It has been made by a highly skilled ironsmith and increases your skill by 1 point.
Oh, we are a badass
Not
now.
wanting to risk walking back across the tightrope, You decide to crawl along it. Safely back on firm ground, you step through the archway and head north.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't pick it up
the
then.
tunnel.
Can't be
The
dealing with
tunnel
spiders ever.
continues north a long way before turning sharp right. Around the corner, you come to a dead end. Only the mouth of a wooden chute in the wall offers any hope of further progress. You decide to take a chance and climb into the chute. You slide gently down and emerge into a room, landing on your back. As soon as you stand up, you are confronted by the most repulsive sight you have ever laid eyes on.
What, Oddie's reflection?
There in front of you, wallowing in a circular pool of fetid slime, is a bulbous creature too horrible to be
I know
believed.
this picture.
Its body is green and covered all over with fearsome-looking spikes. Its face is a mass of crimson blisters, one of which suddenly bursts to reveal yet another of its many sinister, awe-seeing eyes. A narrow path runs around the edge of the pool and leads into another tunnel in the far wall. Remembering the description of the vile blood beast and the warning about the toxic gas rising from its pool, you cover your mouth with your sleeve and step forward with your sword drawn, wary of the blood beast's tongue. As you step around the side of the pool, it rolls forward and flicks out its tongue. But you are ready for it and cleave it with one swipe of your sword. The beast howls in pain and stretches forward frantically, trying to clasp you between its blood-filled jaws. You start hacking at its hideous face in an attempt to pierce its real eyes.
He was so happy about that description, wasn't he? Yeah,
The
lucky
blood
Josh read that
beast's
book.
tail whips around you. You duck, but not quickly enough, and it punctures your arm deeply.
Oh, God's sake.
Breathing heavily during your fight, you begin to succumb to the toxic gas and fall, cracking your head on the floor.
We crack our head an awful lot. We're going to have like massive concussion issues when we leave this dungeon. We're not even going to remember our name
Again,
by the time we're out of here.
The bulbous creature strikes for you with its hideous fangs. You jump clear of them, striking out and smashing one clean out of its hideous mouth. Your blade strikes one of the blood beast's real eyes with devastating effect. It slumps back into its pool, thrashing about in a frenzy. You seize the opportunity and run around the side of the pool to the tunnel exit.
They knew like
The
some of these
tunnel
combats could be stretched out
leads
too
into
long.
a
In a game
large
form,
room. Its ceiling is supported
for streaming,
by
they
several
optimized it to be
marble
quicker
pillars.
pace,
As you enter the
but
room,
retain most of the flavor
you see
anyway.
a strange beast to your right. It has the body of a lion with
that a
dragon-like
chimera?
wings
Chimera, is
attached
it?
to it,
Chimera
but its head
or chimera?
is like that of an old bearded man. The beast before you is the dreaded manticore.
Oh, it's a
The tip
manticore.
of
Eh?
its tail sprouts a profusion of sharp spikes, thick and hard as iron bolts. Suddenly it flicks its tail, sending a volley of spikes flying towards you. We'll roll one die to decide how many spikes that sink into your body. You'll lose 2 stamina points
Cool, that's harsh.
for each spike.
Thinking about it, it could play the old system because there's a save
You
system in this
stagger
game anyway.
forward to
So
attack the manticore
thinking about
with
it, you
your
can just
sword
always load it up from a certain point.
before it has had time to unleash any more of its deadly spikes. The creature runs directly at you. You move too late, and the creature smashes you onto a wall, costing you valuable stamina. The giant creature whips its spiked tail at you, firing more spikes. You duck and roll, quickly slicing a chunk from its tail, passing close to you.
We're gonna eat some beef jerky. whilst fighting just to
You
recover.
quickly eat some provisions, increasing your stamina by 4 points.
Oh my
You
draw.
seize an opportunity to attack the creature's back leg and manage to bury your sword deep into its thigh.
Oh,
As you are
ouch.
wiping the manticore's blood from your sword, you are surprised to see a small man jump out from behind one of the marble pillars. He is dressed in a tight-fitting green tunic and looks quite harmless,
It looks a bit like Ben
although
Kingsley,
you
doesn't
are
it?
wary of the way he is holding an opaque glass ball with a shimmering green light. "Greetings," he says cheerfully. "My name is Igbot, the gnome, and I am the trial master for your final test. Needless to say, my magical powers are great, so you should not try to attack me. You may have learnt during your quest that gems play an essential part in the trial of champions.
Oh, we've got quite a fair few today.
The iron door in front of you is the victory exit, but there is only one way of opening it. 3 gems have to be put into the lock
many did we get?
mechanism in the correct order.
Topaz.
Each gem radiates a unique energy, which will trigger the mechanism. If you do it correctly, that is. But first, we need the correct gems. First, you will need an
Right,
emerald.
we never got one of they.
The gnome shakes his head and says, "I'm afraid that you have failed
for
the trial of
Didn't
champions.
even start the trial.
Baron Succumvit's Deathtrap dungeon will keep its secrets for another year, as you will not be allowed to leave here. You are appointed my servant for the rest of your days to prepare and modify the dungeon for future contestants.
Fuck.
Perhaps in another life.
Where the hell is
you
the
will
emerald then?
succeed."
So you basically have to search everything, like the insect ring, the fucking.
Yeah.
We skipped.
What happens now? Okay, we're on a map.
Say then. Maybe just.
I don't know. Should we just click play, see what happens? There is a skip
The tunnel
cutscene
leads
option.
into a large room,
So it's just like beginning.
its ceiling supported by several marble pillars.
I don't know actually.
As you enter the room, you see a strange beast to your right. It has the body of a lion
Oh, we're
with
playing the last
dragon-like
part again.
wings attached to it.
Yeah, well.
We couldn't play
But
that any
its
differently,
head
can you?
No,
Is like that of an old bearded man.
So that's our playthrough over. We need to find the
The
emerald.
beast before you
Wherever that is. Where would
is the
that be?
dreaded manticore.
Well, the
Fuck
insect
knows.
ring.
The
there's a
tip of
crown
its
there, so
tail
you skip
sprouts
Yeah.
a fusion of sharp spikes, thick
Yeah.
and hard
The
as
thing is, you
iron
don't really
rocks.
know. It's a complete
Suddenly
guesswork.
it flicks
Like
its tail,
where you're.
sending a volley
what I
of
mean.
spikes flying towards you.
I mean,
So you've got a
We'll
guard
roll
and two
one die
rats,
to
and never
decide
got-
how
never
many
got the
spikes
diamond,
that
never got
sink
emerald.
into your body.
right.
You'll lose 2 stamina
So what we'll do,
points.
we'll play this again,
Each
and then we'll take a different path. Oh, does our gems carry over, or do we have to do it all over again?
You stagger forward to attack the manticore with your sword, before it has had time to unleash any more of its deadly spikes.
Click no for now. I wonder if it carries over.
Right, it's just the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, we'll quit the game. Quit this game here, and yeah, it's interesting.
You lunge at the creature's stomach.
We'll
with your
quit for now, I
sword
think, and
drawn.
we'll leave our save there. We'll have.
It tries to move, but you land a powerful
No,
blow.
that's
Well,
the
yeah,
truth.
there's a diamond might be one of them.
Yeah. Let's think about it. Well, we don't really know, so.
Because the insect ring we skipped. There's another ring like
Mm.
never done. So
Yeah. Are we coming back to play this on my next day off?
I reckon we should. I actually quite enjoyed that.
I enjoyed it. What did you think, Oddy? Let's talk a bit about the game. Would definitely revisit. We have to beat the first campaign anyway. We can't not beat this.
No, I like the house. That was fun.
That was fun. I thought the voice acting was good as well.
Yeah,
and,
he did a solid job. That though.
and the artwork's nice the way they present the artwork to you to kind of create that to give like an image to whatever the flavor text is.
And the combat system just it's like fast though. Isn't it?
Simple.
Like,
Combat's simple, yeah. It is a little bit archaic though, where it's complete guesswork. It's like knowing where you need to go to pick up these items, and then they throw it at you at the end.
Yeah.
You didn't find the emerald, so and you're like, well, of course I didn't. You know.
Yeah, let's see what Deathtrap I'm doing. I really don't like Beanbug.
Yeah, it's good. Maybe if there was a couple more clues, or maybe there could have actually found a roundabout way to possibly still beat it, maybe with a different ending.
I think it's if there's something you can explore it.
Yeah.
Don't skip anything. Just.
Because remember the 2 gems on that statue at the start? I tried to pinch him,
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
I?
you skip that as well, didn't you?
Well, I went for it, didn't I? I
Yeah,
went to
yeah,
grab
you
him,
did.
I slipped.
So basically, it was Luke's fault. Then, 'cause you
Luke,
just
yeah, Luke actually exited. But then again, you killed Medusa. She gave us a gem. But yeah, we'll just play it again. And that's the thing. I don't know if our gems will carry over. Because, you know, there's a lot of times where it's like, do you want to go left or do you want to go right? Do you want to explore this room? Don't you want to explore this room? And I don't know if you have to remember all these options and check everything. Fuck knows.
Well, they needed to increase your perfectly somewhere.
Yeah, I suppose so.
It'd be a clean run because it's not going to carry over, is it?
Yeah, I see so. So what we do on the next day off, we'll have another run on Deathtrap Dungeon. Right, so we're back. It's been how long? When did we play this game last? A week ago.
We can go.
It's been a week since our last playthrough. I know people that's
You
watching
can
this on
choose
YouTube.
to be
They're kind of seamless, but it is a week later, and I can't remember much. What so we'll have to try and remember what we did.
Rasmus Longbeard, wasn't it?
Yeah, we want to be Rasmus again. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just explore
during your adventure.
different paths that we didn't do last time.
Yeah.
You are playing.
Because I remember we missed out on an emerald. We need to find an emerald. Well, there's 3 gem sockets to open that door. Josh, do you remember what we did?
Basically, it's just going to be like explore everything.
Yeah.
The lid of the box lifts off easily, and inside
We did that. I don't remember the directions we're going. It's almost impossible to say. Now here's the thing: we can use a guide to beeline this, so we can actually see how we beat the game, or we can try to play it again legit. What do you reckon, Oddie? Let's let Oddie come up with an idea. Do you think it's best to beeline it until we finish this game in one go, or are we going to try to play it again, legitimate? Because my only fear is if we play it again, legitimate, and lose again, it means we're going to have to do it all over again, and that won't be fun to watch. Definitely not. All right. Okay. Who wants to read the guide? Me or Oddie? Do it. All right. Okay.
Yeah, it don't be like I tried this for too long.
Okay. What's this game called again?
Deathtrap.
Deathtrap Dungeon. Okay.
Was it the video adventure?
Deathtrap Dungeon. To be honest, I should. You went in a dungeon. Okay. You open up the box. You read the Baron note. Head east, following a single footprint.
ahead, you can see a large obstruction on the tunnel floor. Although it is too dark to make out exactly what it is, the wet eastbound
We did this.
footprints you have been
Remember? And actually, I chose the right. I chose the right option because it says climb over the obstruction. Remember, I did that, didn't I? Continue east towards the obstruction. Climb over the obstruction.
You clamber.
Head east. Drink the liquid plus 1 stamina point.
The although the temperature in the tunnel.
It says start north again. Getting hotter and hotter. It's a good thing you drank the liquid. Okay, first order.
The orc is strong, slow. Your You raise your sword to parry the attack.
Did you try to slide the iron plate on the door?
The first orc slumps lifeless.
You start off north again. It's getting hotter and hotter. Do we do that?
Yeah. So they have it here.
It's a good
The orc
thing you
is
drank the liquid. This is try to slide the iron plate. You jump over the pit and get the rope. Oh, we can still get the rope, I'm pretty sure. Oh, we'll find out.
Your
I reckon a lot of it will lead to the same place anyway, I reckon.
I don't know. See,
You raise your sword to
Inside.
Oh, open the iron door, I suppose.
that iron plate thing. So do we have to check the iron plate?
It says try to slide the iron plate on the door. You want to jump over the pit and get the rope, so we have to find a way to get back to that rope. Where would that be?
So I think we've fucked up already then. So we have to get back.
Okay.
So we'll have to fucking do it again.
Alright, load. I
The
don't
door
know if this is
opens
like
into a large
I don't know if
chamber.
this is like a revised version of
door
like the book or
opens
not.
Into a large chamber, where you are shocked to see one of your rivals, who has obviously met.
I think there's a
sudden
reset
boy
button anyway
death.
there.
Did he do anything for it?
Alright, so I'll read them one at a time. So 1, you enter Deathtrap dungeon. 2, you open a box. So open a
The lid
box.
of the box.
You read the Baron's note.
Yep.
Head east.
Continue east.
Continue east.
You
Right,
Climb over.
you climb.
Head east.
So there's either drink liquor or do north.
Yeah, so on this it says actually head east. It says drink the liquid for 1 stamina point.
Right, now what?
You drink the liquid. You start off north again.
So you don't slide the iron
Oh
plate.
wait a sec. Yeah, the options are in different places on this.
Oh,
Okay,
shit,
try to slide the iron plate open then.
The sm-
You want to jump over the pit and get the rope.
The door swings open. Ahead, the orcs.
the orc is
We will watch the new stuff when it comes up. So don't worry, we're not skipping like
Yeah,
the new
because
stuff.
we have to get to the fucking gem,
W-
with the gems plates.
Yeah, we just need to
Your
kind of
shi-
get to bits we haven't reached yet. No point listening to everything we've just seen.
I mean, you always had it in that anyway.
You
Yeah.
raise your sword to you the orc Your shield protects
Inside, one.
Okay, so we've got the ripping your straight. The only way to avoid damage is 156. You win about the 2 orcs, 1 gold piece and a hollow wooden tube. Go west. You open the closed door, iron door, a dead competitor. Okay. Search the unfortunate barbarian, dried meat. So yeah, the options are different actually on this.
Oh shit, like, it's not even-
Yeah, this is not from the game. This is might be just from literally the book. Wait there a sec. You have a rope. Oh, climb the idol. You have a rope.
The idol is very.
You price out the left eye. We listened to this. We didn't do
As
this.
you touch the idol's emerald eye,
Oh, emerald eye.
you hear a creaking sound below you. Looking down, you are shocked to see the two stuffed birds flying off. Their wings flap in jerky movements, but they are soon above you and look set to attack. You'll fight the flying guardians one at a time, but reduce your skill by 2 during this combat because of your restricted position.
Your skill set higher.
Yeah. Remember when I said go for the idol? We had to do it, so I was right, remember? You two were like, oh, why are you being so greedy? I was like, well, I need to get those fucking gems. And you had to get them.
Yeah, yeah.
You're able to grab.
So, battle the two flying guardians.
The crumpled form of the first flying guardian falls crashing to the floor. So you ready yourself to take on the second. Clawing coming at you're able to grab. Your final swipe dispatches the second flying guardian. You look down and see the crumpled bodies of the two flying guardians lying motionless on the floor. You start to prize out the idol's emerald eye with the tip of your sword. At last it comes free, and you are surprised by its weight when it falls into your hand. Hoping it may be of use later, you put it in your backpack.
Okay, it says you've got the emerald. 1 second. Climb down the idol.
Back on the lasso, not much farther down.
You leave this chamber and continue north.
The tunnel.
Oh, and I was right again. It says, walk through the light, hear the spirit girl's poem. So we'll do that.
As soon as your head goes under the blue light, you hear the sound of muffled voices. The faces are no longer laughing, but have changed their expressions to one of despair and anguish. A young girl's sad face hovers in front of you, and she begins to whisper a poem. Transfixed, you listen intently, believing that she has a special message for you as she recites, "When corridor doth water meet, do not make a quick retreat. Take a breath and jump deep in, if your trial you hope to win." Memorizing the spirit girl's poem, you step through the shaft of light and quickly head on north. You come to an arched doorway set in the right-hand wall of the tunnel.
It says continue north. Continue along the tunnel. Go east at the junction. Okay. Jump over the pit carrying all your possessions.
Taking a step forward, you leap towards the edge of the pit. How lucky are you feeling? Rolling equal to or less than your luck score means you've been lucky, but a higher roll could cost you. Your armor and sword weigh you down, but you just manage to land safely on the far edge of the pit. You waste no time and head east. The tunnel
Okay, just like look at head east. Open the wooden door.
The door opens into a large candlelit room.
Wait for the question. You see a competitor's fate.
Wait for the question?
Yeah.
Alright, don't get this away.
No.
The old man points at one of the statues, and you recognize it immediately. It is the knight who started the trial of champions. The agonized look on his face locked in stone for eternity. The old man smiles, saying, "This man weighs 100 pounds plus half his weight. How much does he weigh?" What will you answer?
100 pounds plus half his weight. I know the answer anyway. It's 200 pounds.
Still smiling, the old man looks at you and says, "Well done, stranger.
Look at Ollie like chiming in. He's
You
there.
have
He's
answered
waiting. He's got his guidebook open.
I wish you good fortune during the rest of the trial of champions. And to this end, I shall increase your powers." He then mutters a few more unintelligible words, and you feel a powerful surge soar through your body, increasing your skill, stamina, and luck by 1.
Cool.
You
For
bid
answering,
the old man farewell.
for guessing
and
that right,
leave
we got
his
some
room
good bonus
to
stats there.
continue north along the passage. Only a few meters further down the passage, you see another cloak.
Okay, so you continue north down the passage. Oh wait a sec. And it says, open the door with an X on it. Yeah.
The door opens into a large room. Looking around, you see an alcove in the west wall. In the middle of the room, sitting in the chair, is the skeleton of an armed warrior, possibly a contestant from years gone by.
I did this, yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay. Take the parchment.
I think we did this.
No, we didn't. So this is cool.
Touching the parchment has precisely the effect you had feared. The skeleton lurches forward and, rising from its chair in a series of jerky movements, raises its sword to strike you. Lunging sideways, you draw your sword to defend yourself. The skeleton is strong.
Cock dice. Do you see
but
that?
slow.
Yeah, it's like
You swing your
The physics were
sword,
broke.
which smashes into its leg. You dodge to the side as the warrior swings its sword. You kick out, knocking its legs out from under it. The warrior's strength is surprising. You raise your shield to defend yourself, but it smashes you painfully against the wall. Once again, you reach for the parchment, only this time lying amidst a pile of broken bones. Unfolding it, you see a map of a room with a drawing of a hideous creature inside it. Beneath the monster is a rhyme, which reads, "Should you meet the manticore,
Didn't we read this?
of its tail
done this one.
beware.
Oh.
Shield yourself against the spikes flying through the air." You fold up the piece of parchment and put it in your backpack, repeating the rhyme over and over to yourself. You walk across to the alcove. At the back of the alcove are some steps leading down into a cellar. Cobwebs brush your face.
Ignore the mushrooms and step through the archway. Burst through the trapdoor with your sword drawn.
You throw the trapdoor. Your egg.
You could have spiced up the descriptions of the attacks as well. They're the same 3 attacks over and over again.
Yeah,
You
you
both-
should have added like, you know,
Yeah.
a lot more outline than 10, 20 or something.
Like, you attack it with your fists. It's like, well, we got a sword for a start, didn't we? And we're using our fists for like the 100th time.
Yeah, like if you sweep it, like sweep it, like,
We love sweeping legs.
I think you just like find the sword up. Like,
Yeah, they needed a fair few more varied,
You lie.
vary it a bit, the combat.
Yeah.
Just the description. Or then again, maybe this is a true description in the game. I don't know. They're using it's authentic. I'm not sure.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, we can think.
Yeah.
Okay. You triumphant in one of your towers.
Okay, open the cupboard. A wooden mallet and 10 iron spikes.
The-
Head north.
The door.
Continue north. I think we could listen to this stuff. I
There
don't
is
think
an
we've done
open
this.
pipe in the right-hand wall, about a meter in diameter. It is too dark to see far down it. You shout into it and hear your voice echoing down the iron pipe until eventually the sound fades away.
Crawl down the pipe.
The pipe is wet and slimy, but you crawl on into the dank darkness, slithering and sliding as you go. Suddenly your hand touches something hard and square, which feels as if it is made of wood. It rattles as you shake it, and you decide you must be holding a box.
Crawl back out of the pipe and examine your findings.
Removing the box lid by the light of the tunnel, you find an iron key and a large gem. It is a sapphire.
Well, we got a
Placing
sapphire
the
before, didn't we?
items carefully in your backpack, you gain 1 luck point and set off north once again. There is a new branch in the tunnel on your left, and ahead you see 2 bodies lying on the floor. You stop and peer down the new tunnel, but seeing no doors or creatures, you decide against walking down it. With your sword drawn, you walk over to the bodies of the 2 orc guards. At least one of your rivals in the Trial of Champions must still be ahead of you. A quick search of the bodies produces nothing, apart from a necklace of teeth around the neck of one.
Yeah,
Where like this?
I'll wait a second. Just continue north and run until your competitor. Oh, wait a minute, wait. Take the necklace from the dead orc +1, yeah.
Yeah, I think
We've done this before.
The necklace.
Uh,
The tunnel soon ends.
1 second. Continue north, you run into your competitor. Did you do that? Okay, you did it. Head west with the barbarian.
and I get the big dash. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Accept the barbarian's offer.
You tie the rope around your waist and
Yeah.
take hold of the lighted torch given to you by Throm, as your barbarian ally calls himself. Taking hold of the
he's
slack
back.
rope,
We'll save him this time.
Throm lowers you slowly over the edge of the pit
Yeah.
and down into the dark depths below. You can see by the light of the torch that the sides of the pit are extremely smooth. You drop about 20 meters before hitting the bottom of the pit. There, you see another tunnel heading north, and you call up to Throm and tell him of your discovery. He calls back, saying that he is going to tie the rope around a protruding rock on the edge of the pit and will come down and join you. You hear him climbing down and soon you are together again. Throm retrieves his rope on
Yeah.
a stone ledge.
Open a red book about the blood beast. Open a black book and drink the liquid.
The book pages are sealed together,
No.
but a small hole has been cut out in the middle of them, just large enough to hold a small corked bottle containing a clear liquid. You show it to Throm, who holds up his hand, indicating that he does not want you to come anywhere near him with it. His distrust of things unknown is strongly evident.
Drink the liquid.
The liquid is a magical potion that will enable you to detect hidden traps and adds 2 luck points.
That's good. Continue north of From.
Setting off, you can... The tunnel turns.
Fight the cave trolls. Yeah.
You drop to the ground. You hurl yourself. You look to the left.
Continue east of From. Unless you want to rest the ring. It does nothing about that.
The tunnel leads.
Head straight for the archway.
The tunnel ends.
Persuade From to take the dwarf's test. We did all this before, haven't we? Predict it to be less than 8 or whatever. Because obviously the law of averages.
The dwarf. With lightning.
It says choose rune moat because the scorpion is harder to fight. The other one's a scorpion. So that'd be cool, fighting a scorpion.
You call out to the dwarf.
Scorpion's tougher than Minotaur.
Like, yeah, harder than the Minotaur.
It might be a massive scorpion.
Yeah, but fucking Minotaur, come on.
Well, you can't really lose in this game anyway, really, because after 3 fights, after 3 rounds, you win anyway.
That's the thing, yeah, you might use up a little health, but...
Well, look how high our stats have gone.
Yeah, our stats are maxed anyway, maybe, like, it doesn't actually go like...
Mine.
No.
The Minotaur swings its huge axe above its head. You step. The dwarf calls down from the balcony.
Does it eat and drink the dwarf's offerings?
The food and
Gives us 2
after
stamina.
about 20.
You must battle From.
You dropped.
The dice rolled on top of each other.
From is tall.
That's great.
You hurl. Exhausted by your.
Walk into the crystal tunnel.
The tunnel.
It says investigate the buzzing sound.
There is a large.
Okay. Continue west.
Ahead.
Stand your ground with your sword drawn.
Right, we never did this.
Okay, we'll listen to this.
A crippled man with shackled feet shuffles into sight,
Oh.
carrying a wooden tray laden with bread and water. He looks tired and miserable, and quite unmoved by the sight of you, and tries to walk past.
Okay. Talk to the crippled servant.
He looks at you warily when you tell him you are a contestant in the Trial of Champions. You ask him what he is doing in the tunnels, and he replies, rather reluctantly, that he is a servant of one of the trial masters, Baron Sukhumvit's appointed controllers of the sections of his dungeon. After chatting for a while, he admits that he would like to escape, but no one is allowed to leave the dungeon in case they reveal the secrets of its construction. He tells you that he hopes one day to bribe his way out, and that for 1 gold piece, he will tell you where some treasure is hidden.
Pay him 1 gold piece for advice.
He takes your gold piece and tells you that in a northern tunnel, there is a wooden chair carved in the shape of a demon bird. In the arm of the chair is a secret panel which contains a potion in a glass vial. It's a doppelganger potion, if I remember right. Good luck. I hope we meet again outside these infernal tunnels. The man shuffles off, and you continue your journey. After a short while, you arrive at another junction in the tunnel.
Go north.
Set back in the arched alcove in the tunnel wall,
Look at that. It's cool.
you see an ornate wooden chair carved in the shape of a demon-like bird of prey.
Sit in the chair.
Remembering the old man's advice, you search the arm of the chair for a secret panel. You find an almost invisible crack in the arm, which you start to press and squeeze. Suddenly a tiny panel springs out of the arm, and you see a glass vial lying in a cavity. You pick it out and read the label. Doppelganger potion, 1 dose only. This liquid will make you assume the shape of any nearby living being. You place the strange potion in your backpack and continue north, where the tunnel starts to slope downwards.
I think this is
Finally
new
comes
stuff.
to an end at a deep pool enclosed by the tunnel wall. The words of the spirit girl's poem flash through your mind. When corridor doth water meet, do not make a quick retreat. Of course, it is here that she wants you to dive into the water. Now, you must decide what to do.
Look how serious he was about that. Like,
You love that, don't you?
dive into the water. Yeah.
Somewhat nervously, you take a deep breath and dive into the dark pool. The northern wall does not project very far beneath the surface of the water, and you decide to take the risk to swim under it. Soon, you start gasping for air and are forced to swim upwards. Trying not to think that you could be trapped in an old submerged tunnel, you are relieved when you surface into cool air. You are on the other side of the wall and can see the tunnel rising out of the water and continuing north into the distance. You wade out of the water and check if you've been lucky with the contents of your wet backpack. You are dismayed to find that all your remaining provisions are saturated and inedible. You carefully repack your remaining possessions and set off.
No
north
healing now.
again. A little way along on the left of the tunnel wall, you reach the entrance of a large cavern from which you hear a girl's voice crying for help. You can just make out the shape of a human figure rolling about on the floor at the back of the cavern.
Enter the cavern and investigate.
As you approach the prostrate figure, you see she is an elf, one of your rivals in the Trial of Champions, and she is fighting for her life in the bone-crushing grip of an enormous boa constrictor.
You can't lose it there. Meaning you can't finish the game.
Wow. Bloody hell. You eat the bread, free stamina, monkey charm. What the hell? What it says is, enter the cavern. One of your competitors, the elf woman, needs your help. It doesn't say, but actually, it doesn't say what to do. It just says you eat the bread plus 3 stamina, monkey charm, and dagger and mirror. So I don't know from here. I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
With one swipe of your trusty blade, you behead the boa constrictor. You uncoil its massive body from around the elf and try to resuscitate her. Her eyes open a little, but you can see that there is no hope. She looks at you and smiles, and then says in a whisper, "Thank you. I know it's too late for me, but I will tell you what I've learned. Your way out lies ahead, but you need gems to unlock the final door. One of them is a diamond, but I do not know what the others are. Alas, I have not found a diamond, but would urge you to look for one. Good luck." Her eyes
Yeah,
close,
he's doing a great job.
and she slumps down onto the cold floor. You watch sadly as she breathes her last, knowing she would not mind you take 2 of her daggers and search her leather backpack. Inside, you find some unleavened bread, a mirror, and a bone charm in the shape of a monkey.
Okay. You eat the bread plus 3 stamina, monkey charm, daggers and mirror.
The bread contains secret elven healing herbs, which increase your stamina by 3 points. Feeling sad, yet strong, you pack away the mirror and the charm and leave the cavern to head north. Walking along the tunnel, you notice an iron grill in the floor.
Should lift it up.
Lying in a hole about a meter deep, you see a grappling iron and a leather pouch.
Reach for the grappling.
You reach down into the hole and suddenly your blood runs cold as you feel something warm and sticky wrapping itself around your arm. You manage to pull your arm out of the hole, but a hideous tentacled limb with unbelievably strong suckers is clinging to you. By the time you manage to cut yourself free, your arm is trembling with pain, and you wonder whether luck is on your side. Having had the sense not to put your sword arm into the hole, the effects of the tentacled arm are not too serious, meaning you only lose 1 skill point. You reach back into the hole and pull out the grappling iron and the leather pouch. Inside the pouch, you find a tiny brass bell. You pack away your new possessions and continue north. A door comes into view in the left-hand wall of the tunnel. You listen carefully at it and hear nothing. The door is not locked, and the handle turns easily.
Keep walking along the tunnel.
The tunnel starts to widen, and ahead you see it's opened into a huge cavern from where you can hear the sound of many high-pitched voices. You creep up to the entrance and take a look inside. There are about 20 tiny people with long noses and ears running in a circle around a large golden effigy.
Troglodytes. Drink the doppelganger potion. Oh, we're going to pretend to be one of them.
You
Or
pour the contents of the glass vial into your mouth and swallow the clear liquid. Although you do not feel any immediate change, you hope that the potion will create the illusion that you are a troglodyte, just like the ones in front of you. Taking a deep breath, you step boldly into the cavern. The troglodytes continue their tribal dance, believing you to be one of them. You walk past them casually and head north. Unfortunately, the effects of the potion are short-lived. Suddenly, you hear a shriek behind you as one of the troglodytes spots you, and you are forced to run across the cavern floor. Ahead, you see an underground river running east to west through the cavern, and a wooden bridge crossing over it.
Run over the bridge.
After crossing the bridge, you run across the cavern floor. At last, you see a tunnel in the far wall, which you race down until you reach its end at a heavy wooden door. The door is locked. The key turns in the lock,
We have the iron key.
and the door opens into a four-way intersection of the tunnel. There is nothing to be seen, either to the east or to the west, apart from the now familiar ceiling crystals giving off their dim light. And suddenly you hear a voice calling you. This way, this way. You are on the right track. It seems to be coming from somewhere directly ahead of you. Your curiosity gets the better of you, and you decide to walk towards the beckoning voice. The tunnel bends sharply to the right, and around the corner you see a little old man with a long beard, cowering behind a large wicker basket. The basket is tied to a rope, the other end of which disappears into the ceiling. The old man sounds very worried as he says, "Do not attack me, stranger. I pose no threat to you. I am simply here to help you. If you will be so kind as to offer me some sort of remuneration, I will gladly haul you up in the basket to the upper level. And believe me, that is where you ought to be."
Give the man the mirror for your backpack. Give the man a mirror from your backpack. Then it says poison ivy, the troll female.
Oh, for something else then.
Sure.
Oh, you have to scroll through it.
Okay.
You're reading a terrible guide.
We're gonna work
So,
for.
so what is it then? It's like, it's the coin, or it's what do you say?
It just says give the man the mirror from your backpack. That's what it says on this guide. Oddie, what is it, Oddie?
So why is it coin? Oh, there is no mirror, so it has to be coin then.
Yeah, did we get a mirror from the elf that died? The elf girl with the snake? It's in there somewhere.
No, but
Alright, well that's Oddie. Oddie, what are we doing?
right, the mirror didn't come up, so it has to be coin.
Alright, we'll choose the coin.
After paying off the old man, you climb into the wicker basket and watch.
Oh, Oddie
as
said
he
something
tilts his
else
head back and
rather
shouts,
than coin.
Yeah, that's just
"Pull it up, Ivy!" The rope goes taut,
Hmm.
and the basket rises jerkily off the ground. As you are hauled higher and higher, the old man calls out to you, saying, "You'll like Ivy. She's a nice girl.
Where is this?
We call her Poison Ivy." He starts to laugh uncontrollably, and you wonder, somewhat apprehensively, just who is hauling you up. The basket goes through the ceiling, and you find yourself in a small chamber, face to face with an ugly old female troll. Her face is hairy and covered with warts. With a huge hand, she reaches forward and hauls you out of the basket, which she lets fall to the floor below. She grabs you round her throat and says in a husky voice, "I want paying too."
Hmm.
Well, you said it was the steam gun.
Okay, well, we're gonna ignore what Oddie says because we're doing a great job without Oddie, so we'll ignore everything he says for now. All right, it says continue to try to talk our way out.
You gaze around Ivy's room, seeing a painting of another troll hanging on the wall. You ask her if he is any relation. Suddenly her mood and expression change. She loosens her grip on you and smiles, saying, "Oh yes, that is my dear beloved brother Sourbelly. He has done very well for himself down south in Port Blacksand. He is now an Imperial Guard in Lord Azor's elite troop. I'm very proud of him." Ivy stares at the painting and continues to praise her brother.
Continue the conversation.
Smiling, you tell Ivy that you think she and Sourbelly look very alike. And then, while she stares admiringly at the painting, you pick up a broken stool, creep up behind her, and smash her over the back of the head with it as hard as you can. To your immense relief, she slumps, unconscious, to the floor.
So we did a Sean
You
Connery on her,
search through
did
the
we?
cupboards and boxes in Ivy's room, but you find nothing except an old bone, which you take with you. You leave the chamber by the east door. You find yourself standing at the end of a tunnel with a flight of stone steps leading downwards. From the floor below, you can hear the sound of barking dogs. You take the bone out of your backpack and throw it down the stairs. The barking grows louder, changing to snarls and growls when the bone lands on the floor. You walk slowly down the steps with your sword drawn and see two huge black guard dogs fighting over the bone. You run quickly past them and on down the tunnel. The tunnel veers sharply to the left and comes to an end at a high wall in which there is a door. You hear a ferocious roar from the other side of the wall, and you wonder what gargantuan beast could make such a noise. You tie the rope to the grappling iron and hurl it over the top of the wall. Its hooks dig into the stone, and you begin to haul yourself up. Peering over the top of the wall, you see an enormous dinosaur-like monster
Oh my god.
thrashing about in a sand-covered pit. Its tough hide is a mottled green color, and it stands some 10 meters tall on its muscular hind legs. Rows of razor-sharp teeth line its gigantic jaws, which open and close with bone-snapping power. There is a large double door in the wall on the far side of the pit, which appears to be the only way out of this section of the dungeon.
It says throw your monkey bone into the pit.
The pit fiend's jaws snap at the monkey charm and pluck it out of the air. Suddenly its jaws spring open again, forced apart by the charm, which has expanded to fill its mouth. While the pit fiend thrashes around in the pit, trying to get rid of the charm, you lower yourself down into the pit to reach the double doors. In its mad rage, the pit fiend tries to crush you against the side of the wall with its massive body. Let's see if luck is on your side here.
Wow, our luck is quite high now. Actually, got that stat boost, didn't we? It's 9.
As the pit fiend slams its body against the wall, you let go of the rope and drop safely to the floor. You run towards the double doors and are relieved to feel them swing open as you push on them. You let them swing shut behind you and head north along the tunnel. Walking along, you see a red line painted across the tunnel floor and notice a sign on the wall which reads, "No weapons beyond this point."
Ignore.
The tunnel leads into a marble-floored hall with pillars rising right up to the ceiling. As you cross the floor, your footsteps echo through the hall. The hairs on the back of your neck start to prickle, and you soon sense unseen eyes watching you. Unknown to you, one of your rivals is hiding behind a pillar.
Oh, got pretty
It
far.
is the ninja, a
The
deadly
ninja's here.
assassin
Rikamaru's
dressed in
here.
black robes. Without a sound, he steps out from behind the pillar and throws a star-edged disc at your back. Instinctively, an inner voice tells you to duck. But how's your luck? The razor-sharp disc whistles past your head and bites deep into one of the pillars. Turning to face your would-be assassin, you prepare yourself as he advances, his long sword drawn.
Alright, we're going to have to fight our competitor now. Look at our hit points though, we've got 17 hit points. Even if we get
The
beat
ninja
every
leaps
single
at you,
fight, we probably beat
his
this game anyway.
sword screeching towards your head. You parry, but his sword bites deep into your arm. You find a rock lying in the corner and throw it hard toward a pillar where the ninja is hiding. As he looks around it, the rock hits him agonizingly in the face. You find a used throwing disc and hurl it as he unleashes another. The ninja howls in pain as yours lands home. You decide to search the ninja and find a cloth bag in the folds of his robes. Inside it is a flask of water, some rice wrapped in a palm leaf, a jar of ointment, and a beautiful...
There it is, the diamond.
Ninja had it all.
That's 2 of 3. Eat the rice and drink the water.
The ninja's rations are basic but welcome, increasing your stamina by 1 point.
Rub some ointment in your wounds.
You empty the contents of the jar into your hand and apply them to your wounds. Their healing powers take immediate effect, and you feel yourself growing stronger.
Oh, we got 3 of 3 now?
Increasing your stamina by
What was the
3
first one we got?
points.
We got the emerald.
You leave the hall,
Oh yeah, we did get the
taking
sapphire.
just the
Oh, we're done then.
diamond with you.
I still want to finish the guy because I don't
The
want to
only
make like...
possible way out of the
Yeah.
hall, as far as you can see, is by using the chute in the northern wall. You decide to give it a go and climb into the chute. You slide down gently, landing on your back in another room. As soon as you stand up, you are confronted by the most repulsive sight you have ever laid eyes on.
I want to see the artwork.
There in front of you, wallowing in a circular pool of fetid slime, is a bulbous creature
Oh,
too
it's this one
horrible
again.
to be believed. Its body is green and covered
Yeah.
all over with fearsome-looking spikes.
I think the dinosaur was
Its
scary
face
looking.
is a
though.
mass of crimson blisters, one of which suddenly bursts to reveal yet another of its many sinister, all-seeing eyes. A narrow path runs around the edge of the pool and leads into another tunnel in the far wall. Remembering the description of the vile blood beast and the warning about the toxic gas rising from its pool, you cover your mouth with your sleeve and step forward with your sword drawn, wary of the blood beast's tongue. As you step around the side of the pool, it rolls forward and flicks out its tongue. But you are ready for it and cleave it with one swipe of your sword. The beast howls in pain and stretches forward frantically, trying to clasp you between its blood-filled jaws. You start hacking at its hideous face in an attempt to pierce its real eyes. The creature launches its head out of the pool in front of you. and reaches for you with its mouth. You plunge your sword into one of its many eyes. It shrieks and backs away. The creature turns and whips its tail at you. The fierce spike at the end misses you by millimeters. You jump forward and strike a clean blow into its rear. Your blade strikes one of the blood beast's real eyes with devastating effect. It slumps back into its pool, thrashing about in a frenzy. You seize the opportunity and run around the side of the pool to the tunnel exit. The tunnel leads into a large room, its ceiling supported by several marble pillars. As you enter the room, you see a strange beast to your right. It has the body of a lion with dragon-like wings attached to it, but its head is like that of an old bearded man. You recognize the beast. It is a manticore. Taking heed of the warning poem you took from the skeleton warrior, you watch out for its tail, which sprouts a profusion of sharp spikes at its tip, thick and hard as iron bolts. You raise your shield in front of you just in time to protect yourself from a volley of spikes released from the manticore's tail and aim straight at your heart. They sink into your shield and you remain unharmed. Swiftly you draw your sword and advance on the manticore. You lunge at the creature's stomach with your sword drawn. It tries to move, but you land a powerful blow. The giant creature whips its spiked tail at you, firing more spikes. You duck and roll, quickly slicing a chunk from its tail, passing close to you. You seize an opportunity to attack the creature's leg, but it's ready for you. And before you can strike, it rips your leg with its razor-sharp claws. As you are wiping the manticore's blood from your sword, you are surprised to see a small man jump out from behind one of the marble pillars. He is dressed in a tight-fitting green tunic and looks quite harmless, although you are wary of the way he is holding an opaque glass ball with a shimmering green light. "Greetings," he says cheerfully. "My name is Igbot, the gnome, and I am the trial master for your final test. Needless to say, my magical powers are great, so you should not try to attack me. You may have learnt during your quest that gems play an essential part in the trial of champions. The iron door in front of you is the victory exit, but there is only one way of opening it. 3 gems have to be put into the lock mechanism in the correct order. Each gem radiates a unique energy, which will trigger the mechanism. If you do it correctly, that is. But first, we need the correct gems. First, you will need an emerald." The gnome smiles and says, "You truly are a great adventurer. Now, you will also need a sapphire." The gnome, still smiling, says excitedly, "Excellent. Just one to go. Lastly, you'll need a diamond."
What, the only other one we got?
Yeah.
What was? Did we get a
The
ruby
gnome
last time?
jumps in the air, yelling, "Well done!
A topaz.
Nobody has ever managed to find all 3 gems before. Now get ready for the final test, which I will explain once and once only. As you can see, the lock on this door has 3 slots labeled A, B, and C. each of which is built to accept a specific gem. You have to put one of the 3 gems in each of the slots in the correct order. If you manage this at the first attempt, fine. However, if you put the gems in the wrong slots, you will be blasted by a bolt of energy from the lock, causing you injury. So choose carefully. I'm allowed to help you a little. If you place one gem in its correct slot but get the other 2 wrong, I shall shout 1 crown and 2 skulls. If you place all 3 gems incorrectly, I shall shout 3 skulls. You will be allowed to try again and again until you either succeed or die. Are you ready? You signal your readiness with a nod of the head and walk forward to place the 3 gems in the slots. For your first try, decide now which gems you will place
Right, Josh,
in the
you lose
labeled
3 health every
slots.
time you get this wrong, so I'll let you try to guess it.
So it's just from full easy guess.
As far as I know, but it says you need to get lucky, otherwise you lose 3 stamina, which is not a problem. Got tons.
You just have time to hear the gnome say, 1 crown and 2 skulls, before a white bolt of energy shoots out from the lock into your chest, knocking you unconscious. It's 1 dice plus 1 for the damage. You come to, and you are told by the gnome to try again. You know you placed 1 gem in the correct slot.
Right, well, I'll speed this up. It's Sapphire
Which one?
first. Sapphire in A.
Sapphire, that's the
Blue one. Emerald in B. And C is
You
diamond.
just have time to hear the gnome say, 1 crown
that'd be
and
second
2 skulls.
Yeah, well, I just read it
before
off
a
the guide
white
there,
bolt of
and
energy shoots out from the lock into
right,
your
skip this.
chest.
That's right. It's only taking little damage.
How
Right.
can it be like
Yeah, the guide's
that guided?
You come to,
this guide's amazing, right? It got us
and
this
you are
far,
told by the gnome
error free.
to try again.
Right, let's ask Ollie. See what
You
he says.
know you placed 1 gem
That's
in the
yeah,
correct
seven.
slot, but
So what's the order?
Yikes! Come on, Ollie. What's your order?
Where the fuck did you find that guide? It's absurd.
No, this guy's great because we've got this far without dying. So this guide is amazing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the last puzzle, you can't get it right. Diamond, lower right. Top row, sapphire.
No, what you just did. Sapphire's blue. And he said diamond.
Lower left, diamond. Lower right, emerald. Yeah, so it was one.
So it's just at the bottom.
Oh, shit.
you just have time to hear the gnome say, 3 skulls, before a white bolt of energy shoots out from the lock into your chest, knocking you unconscious. It's 1 dice plus 1 for the damage.
Oh yeah, 1 dice
You-
plus 1. Yeah, 7.
You
Fucking
come
hell.
to
It's
and
the
are
max
told
6.
by the gnome to try again.
Maybe it's random
You
generated.
chose the wrong gems last time, so you won't try that combination again.
So one of these was. So that was completely wrong. So one of these was right.
Okay. What we could do is just load it up from the last checkpoint anyway.
Yeah. Well, one of these is right. So
Right.
that
Audie and us both. Well, actually, the sapphire can't be at the top, right? Because
yeah, because Orford is wrong. So we
Yeah.
say. So diamond or emerald is right then from these two.
yeah,
So basically. Well, just random guess then, isn't it?
yeah.
You just have time to hear the gnome say, 3 skulls, before a white bolt of energy shoots out from the lock into your chest, knocking you unconscious. It's 1 dice plus 1 for the damage.
Oh, Josh.
But there's a checking system though, isn't there? So
Yeah, I think you can always like rewind time anyway, can't you? Like
Alas,
on the map, you can always go back to your last like
you
decision.
have run out of
yeah, I'm
stamina.
pretty sure you can.
Yeah,
You collapse on the spot and rattle out your last breath.
and we rattled our last breath out.
Your adventure ends.
So I wish they actually, what it is a guessing game. You just have to like,
Yeah, you just get lucky.
you gotta get lucky with the dice rolls because obviously every digit is like a whole damage.
Yeah. Alright, we leave it all then.
I am not sure. How do we?
The tunnel leads into a large room.
Oh, this is it.
Its ceiling supported by several. You recognize the beast. You raise your.
So we gotta just fight it again, and we'll give it another
Yeah,
try.
you get straight back.
All you gotta do is pay attention because he just gives you a clue, doesn't he? He says like he says like one of them's right or whatever.
You seize an.
Yeah, on this guy, this is A equals sapphire, B equals diamond, C equals diamond. But he says at the end, you need to be lucky, otherwise lose 3 stamina. Why didn't he just say on the guide that this is a random generated puzzle? That would be easier.
As you are wiping.
All right, so just stick them in any order, and hopefully you get lucky. Well, there can't be many combinations with just a 3. It's only a 3-digit combination.
Yeah. Right.
It doesn't matter really. As soon as you get it wrong once, and then you flip 2, and then it's still wrong, then you know that's
You just have time to hear the gnome yell, 3 crowns, before the lock clicks open.
Oh fuck me, there you go.
As the heavy door swings slowly outwards, the gnome rushes towards it, hurling the glass ball at your feet. Green gas escapes from the broken glass. I'm afraid we'll need to test your luck to see if you avoid inhaling it. Covering your nose and mouth with your hand to avoid breathing in the gas, you follow the gnome through the open door. You enter another tunnel, at the end of which is the welcome sight of daylight. Much to your surprise, you see the gnome lying dead halfway down the tunnel. A crossbow bolt protrudes from the side of his head. The gnome, in his own bid for freedom, has fallen foul of Baron Succumvit's final trap. You walk past him and out into the brilliant sunshine.
Oh, that was nice.
There you go.
As soon as you appear at the tunnel exit, a large crowd begins to cheer and shout. You walk down a path lined with jubilant people towards
Really waiting there all like night and day to see if we're gonna make it out.
Sitting under a colourful bamboo
Yeah, you never
umbrella
know, do you?
is Baron Succumvit. He looks astonished, as if he never expected anybody to come through his death-trap dungeon alive. Now the secret of Fang is known. As the Baron rises from his chair, you climb the steps to the rostrum, bow down before him, and watch as his cold eyes stare at you in utter disbelief. You smile grimly as he offers you his outstretched hand. To the deafening noise of the cheering people of Fang, Baron Succumvit opens the chest containing your prize of 10,000 gold pieces. Then he places a laurel crown on your head and proclaims you the champion of Deathtrap Dungeon.
You're going to be playing this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one thing. It's one problem with these old game designs that. Yeah. It feels like you're not having on your second playthrough. It's not as genuine because you're not making your own decisions. Because you're not. I don't think many people would like to do it all over again and just get to a dead end and lose because you simply haven't picked up one gem in a completely random situation. You just don't know what's going to give what. Yeah, I mean, if you just don't... And I tried to climb the statue, I missed the rope, tried to climb it, and I still fell over. So we couldn't beat it anyway. But maybe it's one of these games that does require multiple playthroughs. It just depends on... Yeah. Yeah, it's an old, very, very old game. Yeah. But overall, I actually enjoyed it. I thought that was a good game, fun game, and this is a good version of it. I think people should give this a go. It's not a very well known game. This one, this FMV, but I think it's legit good. If people want to play Deathtrap Dungeon, this might be the definitive way to play it because you've got like a really good like games master reading it to you, hosting it. So
And the narrator's pretty good as well.
the narrator's really good. Yeah. It's just got nice production values too. The dice rolling's auto. It's good. It's got a map system. The battles out end in 3 turns, win or lose, which makes it kind of give it a more of a smoother kind of play for. Or the old battle system is there for you to change it like on the fly if you wish. So yeah, you got the old system. So there's nothing wrong with this game. So if you like this type, you'll probably like it. If you're not into like D&D, it's not for you. But yeah. Anyway, Audie, what did you think? Because Josh liked it as well, obviously. I wonder what good old Audie thought.
It's just that big, like.
I really like it. I like all the fighting fantasy game books, and this is a good example with all the added extras. Yeah, true. So yeah, good game, and I think they're doing another one, aren't they, as well?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. So
The Golden Gate or something. I can't remember what the name of it. Do you think that the narrator came back to do that one as well?
I would have thought so. Seeing he did a good job.
He did a good job, but he should.
To just keep it, hang on.
Yeah, and it gives continuity because you feel comfortable with the same kind of game
Yeah,
master.
exactly.
Is that you want to stay with the same one, right? And
Yeah.
hopefully he comes back to do the sequel or do more because it's good. Anyway, that was Deathtrap Dungeon, and there's also a Deathtrap Dungeon. What's like a? Is it like a sim building game? You're building like a dungeon as well, and you're.
Isn't that Dungeon Keeper?
Is that Dungeon Master? Am I getting wrong? Oh no, I'm getting wrong. There's a PlayStation 1 game what's called Deathtrap Dungeon as well, isn't there?
Yeah, that's like a hack and slash.
That's a hack and slash game, yeah. So there is another Deathtrap Dungeon on PS1.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for watching, and
Dungeon Keeper.
Dungeon Keeper, yeah. Sorry, I got confused there. I always wanted to play Dungeon Keeper. I never got around to doing it, but look, it looked cool.